June 11th, I pulled land data for a market update, and 3 weeks later, July 7th, I pulled it again. And active listings went from 117 active listings to 268. Sold prices per acre dropped 33%. Expired listings collapsed at 84%. That's not a slow correction, that is the ground moving under sellers who priced their land in June and haven't looked at the data since. Hey, if you're thinking about buying or selling land in Bell County, this video is for you. I pull the actual numbers, not the aspirational ones. So stick around if this is useful. Subscribe to the channel. I'll pull market data like this every single month. All right, so let's start with a number that surprised even me. In June, there were 117 active listings over 2 acres. I just did a video of this last month in Bell County. By July 7th, that number was 268. That's a 130% increase in the inventory in less than a month. So here's what this means if you're selling. The market you were counting on in June doesn't exist anymore. You are not a part of the 117 properties any longer. You are now a part of the 268 properties. So if you are not the best priced and the best marketed property out there in the right price range, you are invisible to buyers right now. But if you're buying, this is the best selection window the market has provided all year. So you may want to think about taking advantage of that. Now here's a number that should get every seller's attention. Sold prices per acre dropped from 51,121 in June to 34,155 in July. That's a 33% correction in just 30 days. I want to be clear about this number. That's not the asking price. That's not what someone hoped to get. That's what land actually closed at. Real transactions in the last 180 days. And the reason why 180 days is because when a buyer goes out, they get a lender, the lender hires a third-party appraiser. The appraiser is going to take properties comparable to your property or any property that buyer selects within the last 180 days. That's why that number is significant. So if you're still pricing land based on what your neighbor said 2 years ago, what your best friend told you, your property should be worse, or according to this market update, even what a property sold at in June, you are pricing the market that no longer exists. Buyers that are writing checks right now, closing transactions, are closing them at a $34,000 per acre for a comparable land, not $51,000 per acre. Now again, this is 2 acres plus. That's a wide range of acreage amounts, different types of comparables. Not every property is the same, of course, but you need to know the data before you launch your land listing. Now here's where it gets interesting. In June, the gap between what an expired listings were asking and what actually sold was massive. And the reason why you want to know what expired listings prices we're trying to get is because that tells you what will not work in today's marketplace. And expired listings had a median asking price of $216,000 per acre against a sold median of $51,000. Now that gap could be from 2 acres to 10 acres or 2 acres plus. It's a wide range of acreage, but either way, that gap is enormous. Now in July, that gap closed 13.8%. Expired listings in July had a median ask price of $32,000 an acre, and sold properties closed at $28,000 an acre, just over that. So a much smaller miss. And that just depends on in what area in Bell County those properties were being sold. Now here's why that matters to you. In June, sellers were failing by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now by July, sellers were failing by pennies on the acre. Precision pricing matters more right now than it has all year because the market has already corrected itself. The people still missing are missing by a little, not a lot. And that little is still enough to go on the market for 347 days and still expire. So if you're wondering how long it takes for 2 to 10 acres, 10 to 50 acres, here's the full breakdown by price tier based on closed sales in the last 180 days. So land under $250,000 is selling at about 123 days. $250,000 to $500,000, that is the sweet spot this month. It's closing in 68 days. Anything from $500,000 to $1 million is closing at 167 days. Now over $1 million, 264 days. We'll call it like an 8-month period. So if you're listing your land and you're pricing it over $1 million, go in expecting some patience there, not a quick sell. So location right in this county right now is not all equal. I want to break down 4 areas, 2 and 1 specifically. So Salado ISD is selling at a $44,870 an acre, but active listings are pushing at $70,000. That's a real gap right there. And if you're a seller priced at $70,000 an acre at an active number, the sold data does not support that anymore. You would be better off just taking your property off the market. Now, Belton ISD is selling at $64,000 an acre with limited data, meaning there were only just a couple of properties sold that month, with active listings at sitting around $95,000 an acre. Now, here are the two that are the value plays right now, which is Troy ISD and Rogers ISD, both selling anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 an acre, depending on the acreage size. So if you're a relocation buyer and would rather be in a rural area that needs 10 to 20 acres, doesn't need to be inside a certain school district, Rogers and Troy are delivering the same Texas lifestyle for roughly half the price. And if you're moving up to the 40 to 60 acres in Rogers ISD, anywhere from $7,000 an acre to $9,000 an acre. Now let's talk about why this keeps happening, because I see the same 3 mistakes over and over. One is sellers know what their neighbor down the road got 2 years ago. That number from 2022 or 2023 is not true today. The data does not support those numbers today. A comp has an expiration date, and most people are already past theirs. As I stated earlier, a buyer is going to get a lender. A lender will then source an appraisal out to a third-party appraiser who's going to pull comps in the last 180 days. Not 2 years, not 365 days, 180 days. And if he can't find that comp, then he may extend it a little bit more just to find the comparable sale to your property or any property. But he starts at 180 days, he or she, I should say, starts at 180 days. Now, 2, sellers are taking advice from their friends or neighbor instead of a land specialist who actually pulls the data monthly from 180-day comps. I mean, your friends, your family, they have good intentions, but just the wrong data. And 3, and this one gets on my nerves more than anything, and this is what most agents will not tell you out loud. Some agents are scared to lose the listing. When they go on a listing appointment, they're scared to lose it. They don't want to tell you what the data supports. They only want to tell you the number you want to hear so that they get the listing. That's not a favor to you. That's not helping your property sell. That just causes frustration, friction. The listing sits for months and expires, and expired listings are not as easy to sell the second time as they are the first time. So if you take anything away from this video, here's what I want you to remember. The goal is to sell the property. If you are not willing to price your property at the highest price in today's market that today's market will support, you should not list your property. So here's where that leaves you. If you're one of those people that just won't accept the price, the data today, that is totally fine. Subscribe to the channel, follow along. I'll pull market data like this every single month, and I'll show you exactly how the market is shifting up or down. If you are ready to have that conversation about what your property is actually worth in today's market, not what you heard 2 years ago, not what you're hoping to get today, text me. My number is going to be right there where Augustus is, or you can book a call directly with me. There's a link in the description below. And if you're not a local, you're just deciding whether Bell County is the right move for you in the first place, watch this video right here. I broke down exactly what's happening if you're moving in Belton right now. I'm Trent Babb with Ranch Roads Land and Commercial. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you soon.